Hi, everybody. Jen Wilson here, new Special Education Director for USD 407. I just want to take a moment to say hi to all of you and tell you how excited I am to get to know you guys, the staff, and then also all of the students here at USD 407. Just getting on here for a little bit. I know that there are a lot of questions going on with what's going to happen for the 2021 school year as we get started and head down that road of navigating the change for this year and then starting education. As I'm sure many of you have heard and some of my other colleagues have talked about, there's going to be some changes for this year and it's going to look a little bit different, just like it did in the spring. I want to let you know that we're working really hard and our admin team is getting together and talking through all of these pieces. And so while we don't have all the answers, we do have some ideas and some best practices that we are looking at putting in place towards the school year. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you what I know I can tell you and what I know is decided for sure. And the first thing is that your kids, when they come back to school, are going to be loved just like they are every single day that they've come here before and for this new school year. Teachers are working hard and they're so excited to have your students back in the classroom. And even though it may look a little bit differently this year, we're going to make sure that each and every student as they walk back through the door is loved and cared for and that they know it too. In regards to some of those safety protocols, masks with the executive order are going to be required. And while we're still navigating some of those pieces within local control and those types of things, the biggest rule of thumb is that masks and PPE are being used to protect adults, to protect students, and to protect their families and those people that may be immunocompromised that they go home to. So that's to keep not only everybody within the building safe, but families as well. If for some reason there is a diagnosis that would prevent a student or a staff member from wearing a mask, then obviously there's going to need to be some sort of documentation, and then that may change the plan on an individual need type basis. Students are going to be temperature checked as well as staff every day when they go into the buildings, and then social distancing is going to be used as much as possible. In situations where social distancing is able to be used and those distances are able to be kept, it might look a little bit differently in those classrooms, and your building administrators and building admin team has been working tirelessly within the buildings to make sure and rearrange and change up and look for the best possible fit so we can do social distancing to the best of our abilities within the buildings. I know that probably one of the questions that many of you have for special education is, what are my kids' services going to look like? And the reality is services are going to look different this year, especially as we start the school year, just like they did in the spring. In the spring, we didn't have a whole lot of time to plan. And so we are thankful this year that we've got the time to plan and to be able to help teachers have professional development and to be able to really make sure that we are on top of our game in terms of providing services and providing instruction and how to be able to navigate through that piece. With that being said, services may look a little bit different when we're trying to find ways to instruct students and then also include special ed services and maybe some direct instruction skills or some inclusion skills that may look a little bit different with social distancing in place. The scheduling may look a little bit different because of room use and those types of things to be able to accommodate certain numbers of students. So if your student has, let's say, for instance, 30 minutes of direct math instruction, then they may still get those 30 minutes of direct math instruction, but it may be a little bit creative in terms of schedule wise for when the teacher can meet with that student, so that the scheduling might look a little bit different, and we just have to keep going and be flexible with those changes. We're still going to meet student needs. We're gonna meet those instructional needs, and then we're going to also meet inclusion needs, because students need to be alongside their peers as much as possible to be able to learn and grow with them as well. And so The special education services, I can't give you a clear plan on, but I can let you know that we're going to do what's best for students. We're going to do what students need and make sure that happens. We may just have to get a little creative and think outside of the box in how we do that in the hybrid format that we may be having to utilize. The other thing that I wanted to talk to you about, and I know that there's probably a lot of questions on this, communication is something that always comes up and is a big question. How are we going to know what's going on and who's going to have all the answers? And the reality is we may not have the answers, and we may start into the school year with the best possible plan and have to make changes and adjust on the fly. I think this year, pivot is one of the words that we're using a lot. Pivot, flexibility, and those pieces. But the communication piece, once we have developed a plan, your teachers and administration will be making sure that we're communicating with staff and that we're communicating with parents and making sure that you have all the information that you need to get the school year started with your students. And the other piece that I want to talk about too, I briefly touch on, is that we know that our kids are going to come back different. Our kids aren't going to be the same kids that we had prior to spring break when we did the brick and mortar closure last spring. And so that is a need that we have, and we know that we're going to have that need. So we are going to make sure that we pay attention to that need. And so that social emotional piece, we use zones of regulation here, but we're going to be definitely making that a priority along with academic needs as well, because we know that this is a huge change. And we know that as parents and teachers and administration, we felt the psychological and the social emotional effects from that. So we know that students are going to have some time adjusting and have some specific needs in that area. So we will work to make sure that we are also addressing those needs alongside the regular academic needs. So that is what I know for right now. We will definitely get you more information as we have it. And I just want to tell you that I'm super excited to be a part of the USD 407 community. And like it says, we put kids first. That's what we're going to continue doing into the year. And can't wait to talk to you guys again and let you know more information as we have it. Thanks.